Hi, welcome back. Thank you for joining us on Raising His
Nice
Kids.
introduction. Thanks for taking the words right out of my mouth, Jyl.
No problem.
All right.
I had to remember where I
Twice
was.
in
I was
1
like,
week.
what podcast is this? Oh, yes, Raising His Kids.
That's the other one.
It's not Wine and Wine. That's the other one. I'm going to change that to Drinking His Wine. And then it'll be like the same thing.
Oh, it's funny. My husband complains I drink all his wine all the time.
Well, sounds like he needs to find something better to do. Like drink his own wine. If he's not, if you're not, you
Exactly.
don't want it
Like
to go bad. That's just a waste
he
of money.
bought a bottle that needed to be decorked, and I'm like, well, we can't just let it sit there. Like, you've got to finish the whole bottle. You can't just leave it there without a cork in it.
We just say
Well,
opened,
so like
not decorked.
the twist top
But I will
is
be
like
saying that from
open,
now on.
but then decorked is like so much.
No, we'll just be like, hey, do you want to open a bottle of wine? And then you're like, psh, psh.
Alrighty.
Anyway. So, should we talk about 2026
So we
and
both
how we're
have
going to
really big
conquer the
plans for this
planet?
year. Big goals. So the podcast is going to be a little different this year. I'm going to focus on doing 12 intentional episodes, one per month, with particular topics. Some will have guests. Some will have Jyl, who's just a reoccurring co-host. Let's call her that. Okay, you're a character. The stepmom character.
I like character, but that's fine.
But it's going to be 12 intentional episodes, and then I'll still throw in some bonus episodes in the Patreon that will be Patreon exclusives. Not committing to a number of them. They will just happen when they happen, very sporadically. Because I have got a lot going on, and I had a lot going on towards the end of last year, but I feel like this new year there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on for me personally, with my parents, their health, my life, work, and I feel like I can't commit to weekly episodes of the podcast right now. And I started this podcast as to create the community that I needed. And so I still need that community, and I don't want to feel like I'm letting everyone down either. So it's just going to be monthly episodes, at least for this year, and I'll see where next year takes me. That's my number one goal for this year, to like make sure that I'm showing up for myself while showing up for everyone else.
Yeah, I love everything you just said, except the part where you're worried about letting people down. It's a very female thing to do, especially when we're taking care of ourselves, because we feel like by taking care of ourselves, we're not taking care of others. But I know the speed that you've been running on, and I'm really proud of you for making that decision. I think I run into the same problem with my blog where I think I need to put it out every week or like the world will probably stop turning. And you're braver than I am because I haven't bailed on the weekly thing yet. And you've done it, and it's going to be great.
And, you know, as some of the people in my close circle reminded me that when I started this podcast, I was a stay-at-home mum. I had a co-host, so the chores of the podcast were split. Now I'm doing it all on my own, and I'm working full-time. So I am.
Right. Yeah, you're in a different season, and in this season there'll be one per month, and it'll be amazing because you'll have time to focus on yourself, which will make the podcast better.
There'll still be bonus episodes,
and if it doesn't, it doesn't. Who cares? We still love it.
Sign up for Patreon, or you can just pay per episode as well. So I've set it up so you can just pay to listen to the episodes that you want to listen to, or you can pay per month.
Perfect. I love it.
But what's one of your goals for this year? Because we both have.
Gosh, I'm trying to promote myself more efficiently so that I can write more. And I looked into having someone market, technically, I guess I'm my own brand. And I looked into having someone do my my website and, my socials and doing the marketing. And they wanted me to pay so much money that I quickly decided, like ridiculous, like insane money. And so I realized what I was going to have to do is actually learn how to navigate the socials like a teenager. And I hate it. But I've already increased my base by like 2,000 followers, which I know for anyone that has 10,000, that doesn't sound a lot, but that's my goal. I'm going to give it a shot, see if I sell more books by by pimping myself better in 2026. So
We
that's one
could
of my goals.
we could also like because I know we have book week here, and last year I dressed up as you for book week and promoted your books that way for free, just
Did not
for
know.
shits
I
and
did not
giggles.
know that. Now you need to see a picture.
No, I did. I tagged you in it.
Did I not even notice that? Well, see, as you can tell, I'm really good at the socials, so
I think you just forgot about
maybe,
it. But maybe we
probably.
could host a competition when book week
Hmm.
comes around
Yes.
through your page and my page and to give away more books. But this is to post a picture of yourself, share a picture with us, dressed up
Hmm.
as the Sparent.
Perfect. Perfect. And then, speaking of books,
Mm-hmm.
do you have a goal there that we
I
should talk
do
about?
have a goal. I do. And this is another reason why I have to step back from the podcast because I need time to write.
Hmm.
So, anyone who's been listening would have heard Jill and I started talking about a book idea, which is Before You Blend. And then Before You Blend, while we were like, what were we doing? What would you call it? Planning. Um,
Yeah.
we
We
came
were,
up
well,
with another book idea.
yeah. We were actually in the middle of Thanksgiving and Christmas and talking about the clusterfuck that it can become. And we realized that another great option for a book is, a January to December guide to not throat punching anybody in your blended
Mm-hmm.
family.
Yeah.
That's probably just a working title, but
Yeah. But so that's like a two book thing. But I do want to focus on writing for Before You Blend because I've always loved writing. Like I studied writing when I went to university. It was something that I was good at, but I don't always have the capacity. Also, I put it down to undiagnosed neurodivergence that I don't always follow through on things. So the fact that we're doing this
Mhm.
together and you already know what you're doing, you can keep me on track.
Yeah, I'll be a real ball buster. So I hope
Yeah.
you're ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
And
s- I'm excited because I've never worked in collaborative form on a book. So I'm excited to work together with you on this book.
it's
It's
exciting.
really, yeah, it makes me feel happy because we met because of a book and now we're going to eventually have one on with both our names on it.
Yeah, it's very exciting. And anyone I tell that I'm writing a book, they think it's hilarious because they don't think I'll actually follow through.
Yeah. So it's funny to be an author and you're going to learn this when you're writing a book or publishing a book. And anyone you tell, it could be at the supermarket or when you're getting petrol. Okay. Will tell you that they've always wanted to write a book, or they'll say, "Oh, I'm going to write a book. I've always wanted to write a book. I'm probably going to write a book." And none of those people are going to write a book. You have no idea how hard it is. And it's so hard, but the writing of the book is the easiest part of the challenge. It's writing it, it's editing it, it's proofreading it, it's getting advanced readers to critique it. It is putting aside your ego because some people don't like your book. It's shopping it around to figure out how you're publishing it. It is a freaking task. And when you're done, you immediately want to start again because it's a huge finish line to cross. I do believe you're going to write a book, not just because I'm doing it with you, but because you're a good writer and because I know you'll get that like the same therapeutic once you start writing. I could see it already happening in some of the things we've written where it becomes like intelligent therapy on paper where somebody else is going to read it and say, "Oh my God, thank God you put that down for me to pick up."
And I like that we can target it not just to stepmoms, but to bio mums as well. Because one big believer that I've always had is a lot of bio mums don't actually understand what stepmom's going through. And vice versa. Stepmoms don't understand what it is that bio mums go through. Like, no one wants to share their child, let alone with
No,
another woman.
no.
Um,
Yeah.
so I feel like our book, when we write from both sides, because not all of
Hmm.
my blending issues have been stepmom issues, right? On some of the things I can talk about is from a bio mum perspective, and I feel like we can help so many more women understand the challenges that the other parent is going through.
Yeah. It's funny, we talk about blended families and everyone thinks about, oh, it's the blending of two of two families. But I mean, when I think of blended at this point in my life, I think of an actual blender. And I mean, honestly, and I've written that I've written in one of my books where like my family is a blend of three, like it's an Oreo, a Snickers bar, and cotton candy, and then I'm the broccoli that gets thrown in the blender. And
Mm-hmm.
what a mess that fucking made. So
Yeah.
knowing
But
knowing having information before you blend is so important.
well, that's it, right? So a blended family is not just two families becoming one. It can be one where, like yours, where there was an established family, and then
Hmm.
in comes Cyclone Jill, who is stepmom of the year. And, you know, you write about it yourself where you came in hot. You know,
Yeah,
at first you were like, oh, I'm going to be like fancy free and I'm not going to be around it. And then all of a sudden, overnight, bam, you're a full time stepmom and you're like, I got to do this, I got to do that, blah, blah, blah. And
yeah,
what a shit show that became.
yeah. And that, for me, I have OCD. So the only way for me to combat the chaos that comes with instant familyhood was, structure. And it was more, I realized, of course, hindsight's 2020. I realize now that that structure was more to calm me down.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, you can read all about it in our book.
Yes. So I don't know. I think when we started talking about this was about halfway through last year. I think we started talking about it when I had my hysterectomy, and we gave
Yes. Yep.
ourselves the deadline of Stepmother's Day. Do I think Stepmother's Day is a realistic target now? No. But I'm thinking we could potentially have it done either by Christmas 2026 or Stepmother's Day 2027. Two realistic goals.
I do think those are both realistic. Part of the holdup is that I'm actually finishing up a third book. So
Correct.
I'm almost done, and it's not actually about a blended family, which my first two were about life in a
Mm-hmm.
blended family. This is about losing my mother in February and the the agony of the path of dementia, and um it's been really hard to write. I
I
haven't
can
been able to
imagine.
keep myself on a really good schedule like I have in other books that I've written. But that is why part of the reason why I'm not able to focus quite so much yet. But once I put this book on the shelves, I'm all yours.
I figured I would set time aside, even if it's like a week, just to write a paragraph, and I can add to each section
Hmm.
because my brain is like, it's chaotic. And like when I first started writing the first part of the book, like I said to you, I'm like, I just had thoughts and I just had to get those thoughts out. But
Yeah.
my thoughts are not always focused on the one thing. So I was thinking, like, when those thoughts pop in, it's the beauty of it being in Google Doc form is that when I'm at work
Hmm.
on my lunch break, I can just punch something out. But it's about remembering those things because otherwise I have, oh, that's a good thing to write about in our book. Don't write it
Hmm.
down. 2 weeks later, what was that?
Yeah, I use the Notes app a lot on my phone because you
Mm-hmm.
can like voice to text essentially. So I write some of the best things when I'm driving, which is awkward because I can't use my computer. But yeah, I'll throw on Notes to text and just word vomit, and then later we'll get home and I'm like, what the hell? Why didn't I use punctuation? But yeah, it's funny when you get going. The more you write, the more you'll write. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like a snowball effect
Yeah.
once you get
And
going.
some of the stuff that I started writing originally was because you were like, you should write a book and tell your story. And I'm like, well, maybe I
Hmm.
will. But the problem with that is I feel like I can't share that story until my son is 18.
Yeah,
But that doesn't mean I'm going to stop writing about it.
yeah. And like I said, you'll have more than one book. I truly believe you will.
Yeah. So, but I'm excited for Before You Blend. And the beauty is that we're not overcommitting ourselves and rushing ourselves because then I believe that it would end up being absolute horseshit
Yeah.
instead of something that's actually carefully curated.
And this is where you're helping me because I am very competitive with myself. So I'll be like, "I I have to have it done by this day." And you've so far been good at not making it, and like teaching me, like, you know what, it's better you to take your time and put out a good, not that my other books weren't good, but you know what I mean. I do
Yeah,
tend to be a little hard on myself. So that's what she said.
that
Anyway,
should be a goal of yours for this year, is to not be so hard on yourself.
yes, one of my goals is to find the quiet that I loved so much during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I am one of the weirdos that think there were some good things that came out of COVID. And for me, it was forced still. I just had to be still. And I am not good at being still. And I will fill every minute of the day. I don't like empty minutes, but I need to get back to being still. So, thoughts and prayers, thoughts and prayers.
See, I also loved COVID, something that COVID gave me. And I was looking at this like on New Year's, because every year I do like a recap and post it to Facebook about like what happened that year and the year ahead. On New Year's I was looking at the past ones that I did. COVID was such a blessing because it meant that both my husband and I could slow down. It meant that I got to stay home with the baby, who is about to turn 6 in 2 weeks. Like, where has that time gone? But
That's
it also meant that
insane.
he got to stay home with her as well. Like, and he probably has a better bond with her than what he has with his biological sons, because he got a lot of what close one-on-one time that he didn't get when they were babies. Like,
Yeah.
she's absolutely a mummy's girl. She clings to me, but she is also equal parts a daddy's girl,
Hmm.
because she has such a close bond with both of us, which we wouldn't have gotten if it wasn't for COVID.
I love that.
So
It's funny, like, why did it take a virus for us to all slow down? Why don't we just all slow? Because we're all competing against each other and it's ridiculous. And I need every mom out there to stop being so competitive. You do not need to do every summer camp. You do not need to be signed up for summer camp in January. Leave some for the rest of us. Slow people.
I just, yeah. But another goal I have this year is to focus on my physical health. And that's just because, I guess, with all my parents' health issues that I see now, like, they didn't take care of themselves when I was growing up.
Hmm.
They didn't eat right. They weren't physically fit. They drank too much. They both smoked. So I quit smoking years ago. So that's a bonus. But I want to focus on my physical health because I don't want to end up like my parents, where they're in their
Yeah.
60s and, they finally retired and they can't do anything that they want to do because they're so sick.
Getting back to the gym is on my list, which if anybody who really knows me knows, like, they're probably like, what? You always go to the gym. This last year was the first year since I was 5 years old that I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have a gym membership or was doing gymnastics or playing tennis. Um, I, I was a competitive gymnast all the way through college. Even now at 54, I still have the mentality that I have to treat my body like it's going to the Olympics, as far as working out as if I'm going to play, I don't know, soccer for 3 hours on Saturday. So I did take a year off, partially because I had some knee surgery that required me to take a year off. But I also need to learn to work out in a way that's appropriate for me, not
Mm-hmm.
appropriate for a 12-year-old who thinks they're going to the Olympics. And that is a challenge for me, because if I don't come back from the gym crawling, I feel like I haven't worked out. So I have a new trainer who is going to, bring it down a notch for me. It's like the reverse goal of what other people have. Um, I'm back in the pool, which is, I love being in the pool because I can listen to podcasts while I'm swimming. Um, so yeah, I'm right there with you.
I love that. I have always been too shy to go to gyms. So I am the type of person that walks into a gym and feels like everyone is watching me.
Yeah, they are. So you shouldn't go. That's not what
Um,
they're doing.
I know that that's not what they're doing, but I can't help but think that. But
I know.
I would be interested in getting a PT just to help me focus on some of my and make sure that I'm exercising right for my new body,
Right.
because obviously having no uterus, that has changed my pelvic floor,
True.
which for women,
Yeah.
we know that the pelvic floor is one of the most important things we need to take care of. So I don't want to be doing anything to damage that. Also, like I was talking to you the other day, like look how puffy I am. Like my
That actually
wedding,
looks better than the other day.
it does look better than the other day, but it's also in like quite early in the morning. Like as the day gets on, I
Mm.
get puffier.
Hmm.
So I've already booked an appointment and I'm going to go talk to my GP about what else was the GLP-1 masking. Like what was it
Right.
fixing? Because, I was diagnosed with PCOS when I was 15. So even though I've not had any issues with cysts in my adulthood that I'm aware of, do I still have some sort of insulin resistance that it was helping to deal with?
Right. Yeah.
Because like I could just look at a loaf of bread and all of a sudden, oh, you're puffy.
Yes. Yeah.
Some like my ankles are swollen. I've gone and bought compression socks, so I'll post about
Right.
them
Like
on my Go
why are
Chaos
you
and
retaining so much water?
exactly and
It's
like
9,000 degrees there right now, but that shouldn't do it.
yeah, but like I'm drinking water. I'm taking care of myself. I'm exercising. Since I stopped taking the GLP-1 medication, I am not eating any more than what I normally would, except for like maybe a little bit over Christmas. But that was only like a couple of events where, I might have had some cob loaf, which is a lot of bread, a lot of carbs, but not enough to make me this puffy.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
So I
I'm
just,
glad that you
yeah,
have an appointment. And it is important, I think. And part of the reason I'm back at the gym is the same thing you said is, my mom started just falling all the time. And part of the issue was that her legs just weren't strong enough. And at my age, that's what we're supposed to focus on is less cardio, more like heavy strength training,
yeah, because
which
well,
is
as you get older and you go through menopause, your bone density
hmm
decreases, which is another thing that I
yeah,
need to be aware of. That even though I still have my ovaries, a lot of women report post partial hysterectomy that they start getting more menopausal symptoms. And I am
hmm
35. I turned 36 this year, so I'm definitely perimenopausal age. My mum started
right,
going through menopause about the same age. I need to take better care of myself because I don't want to be for my kids what my parents are for me.
right. And it's so important to you. And I'm sure your doctor's told you this, but for anybody who doesn't listen to their doctor like me, because you're missing a major marker now, which is when
Mm-hmm.
did menopause actually kick off or naturally kick off? It's so important to get, and I don't know how it is in Australia, but to get tested yearly on your hormone levels, on your testosterone, your estrogen. That is something we fail miserably at in the United States, among other things. That's not important. uh Nobody's telling women of my age that, oh, you should get your levels checked, because as it turns out, you don't have to be tired all the time at 54. Like, so
And
I
that's
bet
another
I'm
thing.
telling women everywhere.
When I was on the GLP-1 medication, I had so much more energy.
Hmm.
I am fatigued all the time. And okay, yes, the job that I switched to is much more physically demanding. Like I'm doing over 10,000 steps a day just when I'm at work.
That's crazy.
But I am so tired. Like I don't have energy. And, the crazy thing is like my sex drive is up since I had the hysterectomy, but I am so tired that I just don't have the energy for it.
Right.
And that impacts my
You have to get
relationship.
you have to get a princess pillow.
A princess pillow?
Oh, is this PG-13?
I need to know more.
It's the nights when you just get to lay there with your head on a pillow like a princess, and your husband does all the work down in the bottom of your castle.
God that. I love that. And he by all means he would do that. But I also
Yeah,
hate being a lazy lover.
I know. I know. Yeah.
So give and take.
It's
And like
impossible.
he's really good about it all though. Especially because,
Hmm.
we've got to take things gentle sometimes because I've had a few issues
Yeah.
post surgery. So I'm actually waiting to go back to the hospital as well. Um,
Hmm.
just because they think there's some scar tissue up there that needs to be burnt off with some silver nitrate,
Oh,
which
right.
I'm not looking forward to.
Mm-mm. That sounds terrible.
It
But
does.
you're
It's
probably
ridiculous.
right.
Yeah. But I
Yeah.
need to take care of it, right? Like I can't just pretend it's
Hmm.
not happening.
Yeah. That is true.
So, do you have any more
That is true.
goals to share?
Oh goodness. I don't do a lot of, I don't even call them resolutions because I hate that word.
Well, that's
Um,
why I use the word goals because they're not really
yeah, I usually,
resolutions. They're
yeah, I say like
goals that
my
I want to
roadmap
achieve.
for the year. Yeah, and I'm my own boss, so I am also my own HR department, which means sometimes we have to have difficult conversations. But I am going to freelance still this year, and the reason this is on my list is because every stinking year I say I'm going to stop doing the freelance writing. And
Mm-hmm.
I spend 12 months thinking about, am I going to stop it or am I not going to stop it? So I do a lot of freelance writing for an ad agency in North Carolina. I write for home builders and real estate agents kind of for their blogs. And my goal this year is not to say that I'm not going to do it and spend 12 months wondering why I haven't quit. It's not easy, but it's easier than writing a book about grief. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So I've realized that the reason I keep doing it is because it's a good writing cleanse. When I'm writing about lush lawns or the newest kinds of shutters, I'm not writing about my family or emotions or the hard things I'm going through. So I've kind of just realized that there's a reason I'm doing this freelance writing, to stop pretending you're going to quit and just lean into it. So it's a weird goal, but
No, but that's a smart goal, and you don't need to overcommit yourself. Like
mhm,
you just need to set a goal of, okay, I'll do it, but maybe I won't do as much so that I won't
right.
hate it as much.
Yeah. And it's not even that I don't like it. I sometimes, and this is going to sound really like I'm a snob, but sometimes I think, oh, it's a little beneath me. But it's not, because I'm good at writing and the people that need these articles are not good at writing. So I'm I I'm important to them. So like
Maybe that should be a goal of
you,
mine.
yeah, you just have to be brave and you'll find out that people, they want writers. It's an art that is not as strong as it used to be.
I'll try that. I did sign up for
Sorry,
Source
just
Bottle, which
what's
is a
that?
platform here. And you could probably sign up for it too if you wanted to, but they like put a call out for people that they're looking for to
I
like,
did sign up for that. Yeah.
yeah. I only ever did the one. I don't know what came of it. I sent in all my stuff and then I never heard back. So, but maybe
I
I
did
should pay more
enter a
attention.
contest last week. I haven't done that in a long time.
Oh,
Do you know
that's
who
good.
Irma Bombeck is or
No.
was? So she was an American writer, humorist is what she would be classified as. And I love her work. I've loved her work since I was a kid. When I write, I think I write a lot like her. And so her foundation was having a writing contest. And I only heard about it on January 7th, and the articles were due January 8th. And I had a grind. I had a grind to get it out.
Yeah, it sounds it.
So the trick of it was that it was supposed to be human interest with a touch of humor,
Mm-hmm.
and it had to be less than 450 words. Which, if you
Okay.
read anything I write, you know that that is a struggle for me,
Yeah,
because
that
the
would have been
more
a
words,
struggle.
the better.
Mm-hmm.
But I did it. I sent it in. My entry was number 5,572. So I'm 1,000% sure I'm not going to win, but I did it, and that was one of my goals. Well, it was a 2025 goal. That's not important. Is to get, submit, just keep submitting. That's what I always tell myself. Like, submit things. You never know. And I didn't submit anything in 2025. So I'm counting this one. I counted that for last year.
Okay, so that means you got to do it one more time this year.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay, I'll keep you on track. If I see anything, I'll
Thank
send it
you.
to you. And maybe
Perfect.
you could do the
That'd be
same to me. Like
great.
if there's a competition where I don't actually have to be in America,
Hmm.
I could enter it. We encourage each other that way.
Yep, exactly. We can even have, now we're planning out. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our 2026 planning session. Yeah, we can even have like days where we just get together and we write and we just be quiet.
Yes, we could just jump on
I mean,
chat
not
and just
necessarily.
write.
Yeah, we just hear
Kind
clickety
of like
clacketing.
body doubling. That actually would probably work for me. I'd probably
Yeah,
write a lot. Although you'll
yeah.
probably like come
I
out with some witty joke and I'll lose my concentration on where I was at.
No, you'll be like, why are you on TikTok right now? And I'll say, mind your own business.
Look at this TikTok.
Don't worry about it.
That's so funny. All right. So I did post kind of late, but we did get a listener who wrote in as one of her goals, which I really love for
All
her.
right.
So she is like me and has had multiple miscarriages.
Okay.
And she is currently, I believe, 16, 17 weeks pregnant. So I love that for her. But she wrote in, birth a healthy baby and put myself first physically and mentally, which I love because she's been having a lot of stepmom issues.
Hmm.
Just because she's not even an every other weekend stepmom, she's a long distance stepmom.
Okay.
So she gets every school break.
Hmm.
So, he's not there for 6 weeks and then he comes for a week. He's not there for six, he comes for a week, he's there for the entire summer. And, you know, she has concerns like we all do when we think that our stepkids are not being taken proper care of in the other home.
Hmm.
But she keeps working herself up about it. And I keep trying to remind her that it's not her responsibility and she needs to take care of herself because what's the number one cause of miscarriage? Stress.
Yeah.
So keep reminding her to put all those parenting stresses back onto her husband and just
Yes,
focus
for
on herself.
sure. I That's a really hard schedule to work with because you truly are, you almost are being forced into that. I'm just like your dad's friend role because the kid, the child's only seeing her once every 6 weeks or for the summer when all the fun things happen. And our nature is to nurture and take the
Mm-hmm.
mothering role. And because that schedule is so sporadic, it must be really hard. You're almost forced not to do that, which doesn't make sense in our mom brains. And so I
And
imagine that's why she's getting so worked up about it because she feels like her naturally she wants to be in the mom role, but the schedule is not allowing that.
correct. And
So
the
just
other
chill
thing
out.
is that the son, he is not only is he playing the parents of both houses off against each other, he's
Hmm.
playing the parents in their house off against each other. And then
Yeah.
her daughter, her ours baby, is picking up on that. So just this week, like she had messaged me and her daughter, she'd said no to her daughter. Her daughter's like, well, I'll go ask my dad.
Yeah.
And it's like,
That's 100%
that,
normal in every family.
yeah, but the child is
Yeah.
picking up on
Yeah.
those behaviors from her half brother.
Yeah. Yeah, she gotta let it go. I just started reading a book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. And I feel like that's a little bit too harsh for this situation, but the
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 premise
the
remains.
vibe. Yeah.
I
Yeah, right now, you worry about that
and
baby inside of you.
someone else told me about reading that book, so I'm thinking I will. And I think it actually was one of the books that popped up on my like Spotify recap of listeners for this year
Yeah.
or like for last year that like their most read audiobook was that book.
So this was an idea I had actually, is if we want to do a book club and we could literally throw it out to the listeners, like who wants to do a book club with the subtle art of not giving a fuck? And we can say have it done in X months and send in your thoughts and we'll do a podcast about it. Thoughts about
Ooh,
that,
I
ma'am?
do like that, but I
Is
am
that
currently
adding too
reading.
much to our plate?
I'm currently reading all the housemaid books,
Okay, cool.
and I've
Yeah.
committed to that because that's what my boozy book club is reading currently.
Yeah. And I can't read more than one book at a time. I'm not one of those people.
Yeah, I can't. I need to finish a book before I can read another book. But definitely, maybe midway through the year, we'll see where we're at. You've already read it, so
I said I read it, and that was a really aggressive description of what I've done, which is carry it around the house from
carried it
place to
from room to
place.
room.
Thinking I'm gonna read it on the couch or on the back porch or in my bedroom, but I haven't
Now,
actually opened it yet.
now I don't know if this is going to be the February episode, or if it's going to be a Patreon episode. But you and I need to get together and discuss the Carnival Cruise murder. Was it a Carnival Cruise murder? The cruise ship murder?
Ooh, I couldn't understand the third word you were saying there. Yes, murder.
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 Not Moda.
Not
That's the
Moda.
thing that runs
Not
your car.
Mordor.
Murder.
Murder. Murder.
That's better. I was
Um,
like, I don't understand. What are we saying?
and if we should also just say to the listeners before we wrap up, if you want to hear like the funny non-step parent vibe of Jyl and Tony, they should go check out Wine and Wine.
Yes, wine and wine. Tony was nice enough to get. I told my co-host, listen, if I can't find you time to put you on, if you can't find time to be on my schedule, I will find somebody else. And I did. And I don't think she believed I was going to do that. Kathy Crowley, I'm talking to you. So Tony was kind enough to join me at the crack of her ass, and she was not awake. And I brought a game or two. And
Yes.
I thought she was going to be mad at me for days, but she's over it already.
Yes. It was quite hilarious, but we did more of the talking about words that
Yeah,
we say
it's words that Australians pronounce wrong. Yeah.
or Americans pronounce wrong. So I just want to say thank you, Jyl, for joining me, and thank you everyone for listening. Tune into the next episode of Raising His Kids when it drops monthly. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.